Good morning, friends. Today we are back to discussing the daily business news. We take our reference as Business Standard and try to see what are the news impacting and what is the context and how we can make sense of various items hitting the headlines. Okay. Let me share my screen. We have, let me see whether I have kept it open or not. Just bear with me a few seconds. The window is closed. So if we go to this Business Standard newspaper, meanwhile the website is opening. That is the first news item we have to consider is what is the market's movement yesterday. Because why we are considering the market movement in the first thing is the markets are sort of a sponge. They absorb the information and try to make sense. How they make sense of it? They make sense of it by using skin in the game, which is not a commentary or expert commentary. $16, $17 points. So in this sense, let me share my screen. Yeah. I think that's now I think you are able to see the screen. So it's a very narrow range because it is trying to, there's a lot of volatility in the past few days and weeks. So in my opinion, it is not very good to daily try to sort of find reasons for markets, very small moves. Normally amateur market participants will try to find for every 1 point movement, for every 0.01% movement in the indexes, some reason, some proximate reason. You should find only when there is a significant movement. Say the average, what is significant movement in Nifty? Significant movement is maybe something 2% or more than 1%. Why I am saying more than 1% is significant? Because the average movement in Nifty is around something like 0.5%. So anything below 0.5%, you should try and make sense of it. So experts will always think in terms of percentages and what is the significant, what. So, but the journalistic sort of thing is that people will come on TV and explain every one point, reason for one point, and try to find out some approximate reasons. With that, we'll go to the next sort of news items. So, it's the construction and the civil engineering space is expired, and he is a very big man in the field of construction, engineering, and various continents. And if you see the other news items, the related markets news items, where they say that no, his dollar has risen. USD INR has almost crossed 78 and threatening the round figure. So in the financial markets, there is something concept called the attraction of the round figure. So whether there is a nifty 16,000 like that, or $80 rupees a dollar, that way there is a markets gravitate towards these round numbers. And there's a beautiful, you can see this Google, one speculator named Victor Nederhofer, who talks about rights on that. There's huge, what you call empirical observations on these round figures, how markets gravitate, and the speculators, how they participate based on that. So, one more thing is that now these are all, there is a two types of thinking. What is one is some sort of a gut feel, and another is a data-based. Data-based or empirical. So we can't say that that gut feel. You might be knowing about one very popular speculator, George Soros. George Soros operates some of the things. There is a famous thing attributed to George Soros that whenever he gets back pain, that means he thinks that there is a threat to his position. So he closes his position, or he lightens his position. So that sort of two ways of thinking. So when you say purely about quantitative or this thing, we have Renaissance technologies. Renaissance Tech is a big hedge fund who purely operates on algorithms. So we go to next items, and there is a rupee and USD INR and crude oil prices. I don't know, but people make commentaries. The journalistic commentary, what they say is that a rupee falls due to rising crude oil prices. So we have to see whether there is an empirical relationship between USD INR price and crude oil prices. So what we can do is we can, as a sort of elementary or very crude way of looking at it is, take INR price as dependent variable and crude oil as independent variable and try to run a regression. So it is something like INR is equal to beta naught plus beta 1 into crude oil price plus error. So we'll try to see whether there is any, what type of coefficients are there. That is a crude way, because there may be a lot of confounding variables to the dollar INR movement other than from the crude oil prices. So this is an econometric or empirical question. I just wanted to have a sense to students how we can go on investigating or trying to make sense of these things. And one more thing we have to see is that these correlations are volatile. So when you find some correlation between rupee movement and stock price movement, the moment you find that correlation, they start disappearing. The markets are such a creature, why such a living organism that there's always theory of ever-changing cycles. This theory of ever-changing cycles attributed to Francis Bacon in a horse racing context. So I request you to go through this ever-changing cycles in the market. So that type of things are there in the market where it constantly responds to new information, new players, new capital, and how it resonates itself. And in another news item, this Akash Ambani is taking over this Jio. Akash Ambani moves from open office to Jio corner room because it is a succession plan of family business of Ambani's in Reliance Jio. So this says that there is a huge, succession planning. This is a very important topic in family business where there is a how there is a lot of research on family also from business. That is research coming from Indian School of Business also. How this third generation may not be able to sustain the family business, and so that way we have to see. And in another news item, there is that you have a GST Council. GST Council wants to raise prices, that is, remove the exemptions. And wants to pare down this, simplify the rate structure. And remove the exemptions in various items. And in another item, if you see software as a service companies. So there is some Zoho, Sridhar Vembu. He is saying that now they are feeling the slowdown in the economy, or some sort of a recessionary fears are there. And if you see another item of interview with Zoho, Sridhar Vembu, he says that we are not going for listing. And so this is a debate of whether to list or not list, or what are the advantages of a public company versus private company, IPO versus closely held. So this is a debate we see in the corporate finance when we encounter a lot of these initial things. So he says that being a private company is more of an operational freedom, and there's a culture is there. Where when we go to public companies, there's a lot of restrictions and regulatory compliances and sort of tracking. because they say that no, you go by, you don't have your freedom is restricted. So every quarterly you have to report. So there is a joke. There's a movie earlier of Amir Khan which says that Kayamat se Kayamat tak, QSQT. So public companies say quarter se quarter tak. That means every quarter you scrutiny and they will be closely looked at whether you are exceeding the quarterly expectations, results, or in all these things. So that way, it is that the Zoho doesn't want to go for a public listing, it wants to remain private. And then the same thing, same news item or interview, he says that this is a lot of interest in companies, corporates moving to smaller cities like Tier 2, Tier 3 cities like Vizag, Coimbatore, Madurai, Pune, sort of things. Apart from the big cities, mega cities, because they say that one benefit for employees is that it is closer to their home and they have a lot of commuting costs are going down, cost of living, that is lifestyle increases are there, and when they're closer home, their satisfaction levels are comfort levels are more. In case of companies also, it is a sort of what we say, lower cost of operations and all these things. When there is that cost directly goes into your bottom line or profit. So that way, companies become more profitable, and so it was a win-win situation when companies are able to move closer to the employees' home or native places, or where they can go Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. So the trend has started. Many things like big companies are moving to Tier 2, Tier 3 cities. So this I just wanted to give you a slice of what business newspapers are reporting. So that way, once you start accumulating this type of things in a notebook and try to make sense of it, it goes into your conscious, what you call your database, and you try to link up new things and find some sort of a knowledge or wisdom when you sort of link up news items, various facts and figures from the business world. Thank you. Thank you very much. We will meet tomorrow again.